So, Emily, Slack drops out of a match
Yeah.
against London. The Surge lose the match, one player down. Here is a tweet from Slack winning the map 57-30-ish and lag out. So the internet was the concern for Slack. It wasn't a user issue, it was an internet issue. And we take the map loss, one of the biggest matches of the entire year, for us to make top 8. Love this league. Now, to be fair, Slack has definitely deleted, and Octane as well, have deleted a lot of tweets disparaging the league and saying it's a chalked league and competitive integrity, etc. Now, here's the thing. The challenge here is what should be done and what is happening in Call of Duty League specifically when issues like this arise. This is not the first time we're talking about this, Emily. This will not be the last time. What is happening,
hope
though?
it is. Jesus.
Hopefully it is, but we're still talking about these issues. This is the facts are this is an issue that is not Slack's fault. The internet crapped out. So in this situation, in any other major esport, including Valorant, which is just getting off the ground, the game will pause. The scenario will restart where the round would continue in Valorant. And then after that, they would pause and wait until the player gets the internet back up and running, and then they would continue. In Call of Duty League, that is deemed to be a team/player error or issue, and therefore it is their fault. The onus is on the player and the team.
So here's the thing. First of all, that is BS, and the rule shouldn't be that way. But even if the rule was that way, they haven't always ruled it as such, because similar situations have happened several times now since transitioning online. And there are a few times when a game was remade. I believe it was London. I want to say it was London versus FaZe, but that might have been one that wasn't remade. Anyway, there was one time where it was London has had a lot of unlucky issues like this, and in this specific case, they were on the other side of it, with scraps dropping out. One game was remade. There was one time where he had stepped away and they tried to team kill, and they wouldn't let them restart. I think the main issue, so first of all, I don't think that internet issues are on the team. I think the league, the ruling should always be that the game is paused and you restart it. I don't see why that is so hard. Maybe it is something to do with the game itself and the fact that it's so unfriendly to competition. I don't know. I don't know if it's a game thing where it's just really difficult to just end. But honestly, this is ridiculous. I was really mad, but it's just one of those things. Why does this keep happening? And why is there not a blanket statement? Why is there not a blanket ruling across the entire league? And why are these things not consistent? And additionally, I think the most frustrating thing is that I believe in every single situation. So I know I believe Dallas came out and said this when they were in London's position. London came out and said this because it's happened to them before. I believe FaZe also came out and said it when they were in the position of would we remake this game for you? And the other team always says yes. So it's not like the teams aren't over unilaterally. I believe teams have said yes, we will remake this game. We want this to be fair. We don't want to win. I think it was
FaZe, right? Where that happened, with the water bottle, the incident where he went back and came back, and they said, no, this is not how we want to win.
Yeah, so for this, Dylan tweeted GG's. I think he tweeted GG's, we won 2-1 or something. Because no team does want to win like this.
No,
and it's just, it makes me so mad. I do appreciate the COD competitive subreddit for saying that they are going to pool money together and start a GoFundMe for Octane's fines. I thought that was great.
Way to rally behind the player.
I know, right? I mean, they should, though. This is I don't want champs to be this, Like, I don't want something like this to happen at champs. I want, like, the setup is there, despite the fact that it's online, to have, and despite the fact it's online, despite the fact that it's on this game, there is a setup where we have a great, fun, competitive tournament, and I want everything to be done to make that happen.
Absolutely. And the fact that it is something as simple as something every single person who has internet has experienced at one point or another, having faulty internet, your Wi-Fi craps out, the internet service provider shuts down for a half hour, something happens. Look at Hiko in Valorant right now is dealing with this in pro tournaments, having to drive half hour out of his house to try and find serviceable internet, or using the hotspot on his cell phone to try and compete in games, okay? Internet is a common problem. But the fact that the way that it is being handled, and I will give credit to the league for trying to improve in certain areas, but this has to change. If a pause function cannot be included in this version of the game, and let's say it is going to be included in the Treyarch, whatever it's going to be called, Black Ops Cold War, or whatever is coming next, okay? Whatever's coming next.
Yeah, who knows?
Yeah, I don't know. But this has to be considered. Even if it took 15 minutes to restart a game and create the scenario that is worthy of maintaining the integrity of competition, especially as we go into the playoffs, that is the right thing to do. Nobody's going to complain. Maybe you'll get a couple of Pepe hands in chat. But other than that, you're going to get people are going to understand.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think like the thing with COD, and the reason why I was kind of surprised it got franchising at all, is that you have like a really dedicated fan base. Like, they're small when you compare it to other esports, but it's like a really like fervent, dedicated fan base that just really loves competitive COD. And if you ask those people, would they rather see a fair match and have to wait 15 minutes for like, I don't know, whatever, the game to run out or something, you know, like we just all shoot each other, and you know, the hard point gets to like 250 to 3 or something to get it cycled through, so we go to the next. Like, that has to happen. I feel like the community will understand that, right?
And of course they will. Of course they will.
Yeah, like everyone would rather have a competitive series. Like, it's so frustrating that this is still a thing. Like, after the first time it happened, this is still a thing. And the fact that if the official ruling is actually like, this is a team issue, that is like, shocking, honestly. Like, shockingly rude and awful. And that is that's just a terrible ruling. Because there's nothing, like, that is actually beyond teams' control.
So, upon doing some digging, according to some sources, that is in fact the exact stance from the league, as we know, that it was an internet error. 100%, that is their stance, that it is a internet issue, falls upon the player and the team. There is an appeal process, however, it won't really do much since the standings cannot be changed. So really, the sentiment among the Seattle team, who essentially, I mean, they're destined now at this point. The best they can be is 9th, and they're in 11th right now.
Mm-hmm.
It's right.
They're in the play-in bracket basically.
Yeah, they're in they're basically now in round 1 losers bracket. That's where they are, because every team makes the playoffs. But the sentiment among the Seattle team is, all right, well, guess better wait for next year and hope things get better. I mean, that's unfortunately,
that has to be your attitude at this point.
Right. And that's unfortunate. Okay, let me ask you this before we get off this topic. What do you think the conversations are like within the CDL right now? Like they have to, like, I am not the person to say that all is bad with this league. I do think that there are some really, really smart and good meaning people working there. I have a lot of respect for people, including Joanna Ferris. I think that she's a great commissioner. What do you think the conversations are like right now when you see this and you're like, well, we can't have this happen in champs because that would be a black eye bigger than what we already have given what's happened this year?
I don't even know, because honestly, like this, and not that they've been super strict about this to begin with, because rulings have kind of been all over the place from referee, but this sets a kind of dangerous precedent, right? If you're going to call this, if you're going to rule on the side of this, and like I get the other side of it, like the why, which is what's to stop a player from DCing when they're losing, right? And just being BM to like reset the map. I think that's the idea behind it. However, the league, like behind the scenes, has to be talking to each other about how are they going to make rulings like fair across the board, and make sure that all, like, we've talked about issues with referees before, and either them like not paying attention or just not being at all like present during matches. And you need to make sure that referees are clued into the ruling. I mean, in my opinion, if that's the ruling, it's terrible, but let's just say it is. They need to make sure it's uniform and everyone rules fairly across the board and they're all in line with each other. And I mean, again, this cannot happen at champs. Like, I know most people are already saying like, okay, the season is washed, whatever, just play out the rest of it. But even then, like, champs is something that people are still looking forward to, and there is potential to have a really good tournament. So